All right, this is taking way longer than I wanted. Let me walk you real quickly through how I created one of these little city plates, because I thought it was really cool, but I didn't know some of the tools that were being used. So I knew Blender, and I found this add-on, or watching some other tutorials, found this add-on called Blender GIS, and it's real easy. I'll walk you through everything you need to know. So start off, just do a quick Google search for Blender GIS. Obviously, you need Blender installed. So that's all you need though, Blender, and we're going to go code, and we're going to go download zip. And from here, we're going to save it into a folder, which I already have. So I'll click on cancel. That's all you need the internet for. Then I'm going to go over to Blender. So if you're not too familiar with Blender, a couple tutorials should get you up to speed. But the first thing I need to do is add in this add-on. So I'll click on edit at the very top and click on preferences. And from here, I'm going to make sure I'm in add-ons. And on the top right, I'll click on install. So I click on install, I'll find my program, and it'll drop it in there. Now you'll notice when you add it in, it's not checked off. So the first thing you got to do is you got to click the checkbox, and then you got to open it up, and down here you're going to find a cache folder. You have to add a folder to cache these files to. So once you're done that, you are good to go. You can just close this window. Now I have my default cube. For those of you guys who know Blender, the famous default cube, all I need to do is click on it, and then I'll click X to delete, and click on delete one more time to confirm that I'm deleting that object. So now I've got my nice flat area. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to GIS on the very top here, and I'm going to click Web Geodata and go Base Map. And so I'm just going to leave it as Google Satellite. That's fine, and I'll click on OK. And now I get this map. Now I could zoom in and go to the area I want, or much easier, you can hit G and do a search for whatever area you want. Where was this area? That Whangarei. All right, let's see. Whangarei. And I'll put this at zoom level 16. And just give it a little bit. It'll load it in. And I'm going to move up here a little bit to where these mountains are. I don't want to be too zoomed out. I'll do like this. Don't want to be too zoomed out because I'm recording this, but obviously you can do whatever you want. When you're happy with the area you want, you click on E to export that data. And now you have this flat, plain, very boring thing. So we need to 3D it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to duplicate it. And you'll see why I do that. That's just so that I can pull out a section easier later on. So I'll hit Shift D. And when you hit Shift D, you'll make a duplicate. But Blender also likes to let you move it around. If you move it accidentally, just hit Escape and it'll drop it in the same spot. So notice now I have Export Google Sat WM and WM.001 in my objects picker here. So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to extrude this a little bit, because one of the challenges I had was making it thick so that when Cura went to print it, it would, have something to print. So I go over here to modeling, and you're going to probably see a window like this. It's going to look really weird. You're going to say, what is going on? Let me see if I can even find where this thing is. And that's because our view is not too far. So I'll click out here. I'm actually going to drag, see that little window there? I think you can drag that, or I can click on N, but that's fine. I'll go here and click on view, and the end, it just sets it to really small. So I just put that to like 100,000 meters. Now I can actually see my plane. It's just because it's really, really big. So let's see. Yeah, the N key would get rid of, open and get rid of that. So now I can see my little plane there. I'm going to click, instead of click on vertices, I'm going to click up here to pick a face. I'm going to pick a face, and then I'm going to click on this to extrude. I think you could use the E key. There it is. And I'm just going to extrude it up. It doesn't matter too much how high, because your map is going to go on top of that. Cool, so I'll do that. And with that, I can go back to layout. So now, essentially, I have this flat plane. I have this kind of rectangle, cubish thing. So what I need to do now is I need to load up the topographical information. So I'll click again on GIS, Web Geodata, and this time get RSTM. And this will pull in the topographical side of things. Now, this one actually turned out pretty nicely. The one I had some really weird wonky sides, and that's actually one of the reasons that I created this duplicate. I left that there because I'm going to use that to only select the area I want. What I'm then going to do is I'm going to pick this again and go GIS one more time. And this time I'll go Web Geodata and get OpenStreetMap. And here you can see I can pick ways, and you can pick multiple by holding the Shift key. So I'm going to pick building and highway. I don't want to pick too much. Again, I'm just doing this. I honestly just picked building. I thought it was fine. It printed out what I wanted. The only important thing is to click elevation from object. That'll make sure that it elevates it from your object, and watch out which object it is, because you'll notice I'm on WM001 here and not this one. So I'm going to do this one here, and then I will click on OK. And let's see what it does. Cool. So there you go. Now I have this. See, and the highways really they're not doing much. I could possibly select them and try to extrude them a little bit and make them a little thick, but I'm not going to. Maybe I should do that. I'm not going to do that for this. I haven't tried that. So I can't. That's something, I just printed buildings because I had a pretty nice map with just the buildings, and I was happy there were no real highways or anything crazy in there. So what I'm now going to do, and it's interesting because you'll notice some of the buildings kind of drop off the side, and that's okay because I'm going to use the other one, turn the visibility. I'm going to use this plane to kind of get rid of the rest. Because what I'm now going to do is I'm going to click on the plane. I'm going to go to modeling. And I'm going to extrude it up with either you can click extrude here or the E key. And oh, sorry, I got to pick the face first, right? Pick the face, make sure you're on the face selection tool. Click on the E key or extrude, and we're just going to extrude it up. So now I have this another nice little rectangle there. And again, I'm stuck with this big old thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the object, so my 3D with the topographical side of things. And on the left side here, I'm going to go modeling properties. And I'm going to click on add modifier and do a Boolean. And this Boolean, I'm going to pick the intersect. And I'm going to select the eyedropper here and pick the big old square that I got. And now you'll see it just brought in those sides real nicely. I'm not going to apply it because I found when I applied it, it just added the smoothing back and it made the shape kind of strange. So this you'll see here now. Now it's a little bit curved still on the side, but you know what? I was pretty happy with it. Given again, I'm not using all the other tools and not spending all the extra time. And I'm going to do the same thing to the buildings. So I'll pick the buildings. And you'll see it's just a big area here. I'll go add modifier. I'm going to put that object back, add modifier, Boolean, eyedropper, click the big object there. Watch out, you don't want difference, you want intersect. And now again, you'll see it'll cut off the buildings just inside that box. And I'm just going to leave it like that. And then areas highway, let's do this. I don't think the highways will come through just with the way, like I said, I'd probably have to maybe solidify them or something like that. But I'm not going to do that because I haven't tested it out. I'm going to go Boolean, intersect, pick the object, and again, one more time, just that. So now, I don't like that my highways are still kind of sticking out. All right, well, we'll see how they come out. They should be fine. They'll be fine. You know what? Maybe I'll just get rid of the highways. Deleting them. Forget them. I don't know what it's done. Oh, no, it's okay. Has it done it? Well, we'll see what happens when we export it. Okay, so now I got this area, which has my cool little buildings on it. It's got the topographical map. It's got some nice thickness. I was ready to export this into an STL. So from here, I just go File, Export, STL. And actually, no, what I do is I select the objects I want first. So I'm going to select this object, and then I'm going to keep Control and select that object, right? Multi-select. I'm going to go here, File, Export, STL. I'm going to put this here in a folder, and I'm going to call this New Zealand.stl. There you go. Export STL. And it takes just a moment. Good to go. Let's throw open Cura and let's see what happens. I'll click on open. I'm going to open this New Zealand STL. It's going to be massive. So, at this point, we should be pretty knowledgeable. I found, oh, I missed a step. Sorry. From Blender. Sorry. I have to go File, Export, STL. And the thing I need to do is include selection only. Sorry about that. I'm going to do selection only. And let's do this, New Zealand, export, rewrites over it. There we go. Now we won't end up with a big block. Open that, and it's going to pull it in. It's going to be massive. I'm going to scale it down to, let's say, 5%. Still too big, 4%. You could adjust your scale in Blender, but I found this was fine enough. And there you go. I got this little city, and then, all I needed to do was I dropped it down a little bit below the surface, right? So kind of until I kind of had what I wanted, depending on how big you want it. And now this cool little area. And if you wanted to, you could obviously, pull off uniform scaling. Let's see what that looks like if I do this with a little bit more vertical. So there you go. So now I get some bigger mountains. And, that, like I said, it was nice. It's quick and easy. I kind of got what I wanted without having to do too much work. I was in an area with a few more buildings where I didn't really mind not having the streets and stuff like that. Haven't tested that out, but I was really happy with what the outcome was. So there you go.